Hello, Vinyl community. This is Matt, and this is it. This is the contest winner video or winners for my 250 subscriber competition. So about a month ago, or I guess it was 5 or 6 weeks ago now, I posted a video where I had asked people to name their favorite year in music, and just give some reasons why it was a favorite year, and to name 2 albums from that year. The albums didn't necessarily have to be vinyl. Most people did show vinyl records, but a few people showed CDs, which was fine. And yeah, I had 13 entries, so I was very pleased with that. When I started the competition, I kind of said to myself, if I got 9 or 10, I'd be pretty happy with that. So I got 13. So thank you everyone who entered. I'm going to go through the list of names real quick of everybody who entered, and also the year that they selected. And it was kind of funny. The years that people chose were not the years that I would have thought. I thought that the 60s and 70s would be much more heavily represented, but by far the majority, I think all but 3 or 4 videos went for the 80s, which I found interesting because when I posted the competition video, I stated that my favorite year in music was 1987. Not that objectively, it's the greatest year in music that there ever was, but it was nostalgic for me. It meant a lot to me as a year musically. So it was interesting to see so many other people post their entries from the 80s as well, although I don't think anybody did 1987. But no, nobody did. Most people did the early 80s. So I'm going to run down the list real quick, and I'm going to do it in the order by which people posted their response videos. And I've got the trusty bowl here, and I'm going to be folding these up and putting them in. Okay. So to start off with, Andrew Bellina. Andrew was the first person to post a response video, so thank you, Andrew. He chose 1983, and actually was the first of 4 people to choose 1983. There must have been something in the water that year. I don't know, but so Andrew, here you are. I'm going to fold you up here, and you're going in the bowl. Okay. Okay, the second person was Andy from Andy's Vinyl Den. He also went for a year from the early 80s. He went for 1982. And incidentally, I learned a lot about music as well. I watched everybody's video, and I learned a lot about some artists that I didn't know before. Andy, here you go. Artists that I didn't know in 1 or 2 cases. In most cases, I had at least heard of the artist. I just wasn't too familiar with some of the albums or some of the songs. So it was kind of neat to obviously see the years that people chose, but then to see the albums that they chose with those years, and to discover new music along the way. So okay, next up, next person, the third person to post a response video was, if you can read that or not, I don't think it's focusing, but anyway, it was Dan Powers. He also chose 1983. So again, must have been something in the water in 83, I don't know. Okay. Alright, Dan, in you go. The fourth person was Brent from the is it Simultude or Simultude? I don't know, but I'm gonna say Simultude. The Simultude of Prague, as in prog rock. And Brent chose by far the most recent year. He chose he chose 2006. Okay, you go, Brent. Okay, the next person was Edwin from Pretty Green Vinyl Guy, and Edwin chose Edwin chose 1983 too. So again, there's something very much in the water in 1983. But Edwin, gonna fold you up here. All right, in you go. Okay. Next up was Dean from Grandma's Handbag, and this is the first person who deviated from the 80s. Dean chose 1973, and it's sort of a funny thing. Two people chose years from the 70s. Both of them chose 73. Just the way it went. So anyway, Dean, you're in the mix. Next up is Boarding Boomer, and I think to be honest, I wasn't too sure what your name was because I hadn't subscribed to your channel before. I think from having a look around your channel that your name's Scott, and I'm sorry if I got that wrong, but I'm just going to call you Boomer, or maybe Booms. Boomer. Boomer chose the year 1965, the only person to choose the year from the 60s. So, Boomer, you're in the ball. Next up we have James Griffiths, and James chose the year 1980. So again, we have another year from the 80s. All right, James, you're in. Next up was Brett from Vinyl Victim, and Brett was another person who chose the year 1983. Again, it's a funny thing. I like 83 too, actually. It's a good year. It's a good year. I mean, you can't go wrong pretty much. Yeah, you know, I like 80s music. Any year of the 80s, you can't go wrong. So, you're in the mix. Next up, we're getting near the end now, just a few to go. Next up was Jeff Party. Jeff chose the year 1973 as well. He was the second person to choose 73. And yeah, I think if I'm remembering correctly, that was the only video that was done as a duo. Jeff teamed up with somebody, and they showed the Beatles' Red and Blue albums from that year. So very cool. Jeff, you're in the mix. Next up we have Brandon, and I'm going to pronounce this wrong, I'm sure, I'm sorry, but Mr. Hoffame or Mr. Hoffame. And I really should have discovered your channel sooner, Brandon, because you have a lot of subscribers. I think you had several thousand last time I looked. But Brandon chose the year 1984. So again, very much sticking with a early to mid 80s theme. So Brandon, you're in the mix right here. Okay, second to last was Jorgen S. Jorgen, I think he's a pretty new subscriber to me, but I've looked at some of his videos too, and I like them a lot. Jorgen chose the year 1985, so another 80s guy. And then last but not least is Chris from Vinyl Transmission, and Chris chose the year 1980, so second person to choose 1982. I'm sorry, 1980 as well, not 1982, you know what I mean, after James Griffiths. So, we've got everybody in the mix here, but before I draw that, I'm going to pick my personal favorite. I had a little bit of a hard time with this because you know, there were some videos that had some kind of cool special effects and video clips and so on. I could tell a lot of time and effort had been put into those. There were other videos where people had sort of talked about how they kind of had to agonize about which albums to choose and which year to choose, so I knew that a lot of time had been put into those as well. And you know, anyway, there were 13 entries. I had to pick one favorite, and the person I chose was, drum roll, Brent from the Similitude of Prague. So congratulations, Brent. $25 Amazon gift card will be coming your way. The reason I chose Brent was that his entry was very personal. He chose the year 2006, but it was by far the most recent year by 21 years, I think. I think nobody else chose a year later than 85. Um, but it was a very personal year to him because that was when his son was born. And as somebody who is a relatively new father, my daughter was born 6 months ago, I can definitely relate to that. Now I highly doubt that 2017 is going to become my favorite year in music, to be honest with you. But again, I could definitely relate to that, and I just I like the way that Brent uh, described the albums. He's very soft. I say softly spoken. It's a very calming voice, and I don't know. I just liked it. I hadn't seen his videos before, and just again the personal factor and the fact that he talked about how he likes concept albums and albums that tell a story as well. That's something I can kind of relate to as well. And the two albums that Brent showed were obviously two very recent ones from 2006. But Iron Maiden, A Matter of Life and Death. Of course, I know of Iron Maiden, but to be honest with you, I don't have anything by them except on compilation albums. I think I have one or two of their tracks, but I do not have any of their albums on vinyl or CD or any other format. So that was, and in fact, I don't even think I knew about this album. I know about some of the '80s albums, Number of the Beast, etc., but I really did not know anything about this album. So it was very neat to find out. And the album had great artwork too. I think most Iron Maiden albums have great artwork, but this one was really outstanding. And then the second album he chose was the Decemberists, the Crane Wife. I have heard of the Decemberists. I know nothing about them. Did not or didn't know anything about them until Brent mentioned them, and I certainly wasn't familiar with the album. But it was a really cool story that Brent told about the album and the meaning behind it. And yeah, again, it's great to find new music, to discover music that you haven't had a chance to listen to before. In many cases, you've never even heard of. So, Brent, congratulations again. Thank you so much for the submission. If you can, please send me a private message and send me your email address. I think that's all I need to send you the gift card. But if I need anything else, I'll let you know. But I think that's all I'll need. So yeah, send me a private message, please. Just um, go to my channel, go to the main page for my channel, click on About, and then there's an icon that will let you send a message to me. Okay, now we're gonna draw the second winner, which is gonna be for another $25 Amazon gift card. And Brent is in the mix here too. He could win twice. I know this isn't live, but this hasn't been rigged in any way. Everybody's in here. I'm just gonna mix it around. Okay, you got one. And the winner is, hey, Andy's Vinyl Den. All right, I don't know if you guys can see that. Just about. It's focusing, autofocus. Yeah, just about. I wrote it out. So Andy, congratulations. And the same for you. If you can please send me a private message with your email address, I will get you a $25 Amazon gift card. Get that on its way to you. And so yeah, Andy was one of those who chose the early '80s. He went for 1982, and was the second person who entered the competition. So yeah, congratulations, Andy. Congratulations, Brent. Thank you so much, everybody, for taking part. I'm sure I will have more contests moving forward. Probably, I don't know. Maybe when I hit 500, we'll see. I think I'm at around 330 or 340 at the moment, something like that. So, it's definitely going up, and I appreciate everybody who subscribed, everybody who took part. Congratulations again to both the winners, and until next time, see you guys later. Bye-bye.